Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Content Marketing Sessions with Anna. My name is Anagram, and I am one of the members of the Divorce Allies, and I help our members transition from divorce into either launching their side hustle or even creating their own business. And I help them with their digital presence and get them to cash flow as fast as they can. I also have my own business, Anagram Creates, and I focus on helping small business owners establish their digital presence, create marketing strategy, and do other type of digital creation for them. So I'm really here to help our members in the Divorce Allies as well as anyone else navigating the early stages of creating a business and getting themselves out there, because I know it comes with a lot of fear, uncertainty, anxiety, all of those emotions, plus excitement and enthusiasm and positivity. It's just a lot going on. And I'm doing this with myself, launching my own business. So I felt like it's a really good, a few of these starting conversations I'm having with myself. So I think it's a great conversation to have with our members as well as anyone else watching. So, in the last video I put out, we went through the 4 different trauma responses and how they could potentially show up in content creation. So, for example, flight, fight, freeze, or fawn. A lot of people, when it comes to content creation, they feel completely overwhelmed. They put it off like the last thing on their checklist, or they ultimately get really frustrated with themselves because they know they have to put things out there, but they just can't seem to find the right methods or process yet. And I experienced this myself. That's why I'm creating these videos, like I just said. So that was last week's video, was going through those trauma responses. So if you feel like you're kind of in that situation, check out that video. I have a lot of different tips and solutions to kind of work through those. This video this week is all about remembering who your audience is. So before you get into content creation mode, before you spend hours and hours and hours or a lot of money building a website, downloading new applications, buying new subscriptions, building a website, platforms, logo, brands, any of that, I need you to ask yourself, who are you selling to? Who is your audience and where are they? Because that's going to save you so much time and money, and it's really going to help you narrow down this path that you're about to enter. So I made a mini presentation today, and let's just walk through that to kind of help us reframe and redirect our mindset. So we always want to start with who, creating content that connects. And the more you know who you're talking to, the easier it is to be yourself. So again, this kind of connects. Last week, we were going through all of the very natural emotions that how you feel when it comes to creating content. And this week is about aligning who your audience is, because then that allows you to show up even more natural and more authentic. So I think these go a great hand in hand watch before you dive into the whole content creation world. Okay, number 1. Know your audience before you create. Like I just said, before you spend hours on that Canva design, before you spend hours on your Squarespace website, just understand your audience. It is so easy to get swept up in the design world, the trends, the tech. I mean, you could Google 5 new applications that could help you with content creation. And before you spend any money on those subscription services, just understand what's going to help me create content to my specific audience. And just make sure you're becoming very clear on who you're speaking to, because or else your content won't connect. We don't want to be selling on heavy on Instagram when all of your audience is actually on LinkedIn. We don't want to be spending hours on video editing content when your audience consumes carousel posts. So things like that. This is what I'm going to be talking about. And whether you're starting a new business or creating a passion project, the foundation is always going to be the same. Who are you helping? And what do they need to hear from you specifically? So before you get into the world of actually posting, I need you to just pause and ask yourself, who is this for? Is this for 40-year-old women? Is this for 20-year-old men? Is this for retirees? Is the message that I'm posting clear for my specific audience? Again, so if we're doing the target market of women between the ages of 60 and 65 who have just retired, Is the message perfectly clear for that audience? Or is it a little bit generic? Is it not going to land with that audience? Just again, always kind of have that picture in your head of who your specific audience is before you're going and posting. Again, where will they see this content? If your audience is between the ages of 60 and 65, most likely they're going to be on Facebook and maybe a little bit of Instagram, just a little bit. So if you're focusing all of your time and energy on LinkedIn, maybe that's not the place. Again, in the beginning, when you're first starting to post, I never tell my clients to start all their platforms. I would not run out and get a YouTube account, a LinkedIn account, a Facebook account, an Instagram account, and a TikTok account. That is going to waste your time and you're going to get very worn out and very overwhelmed. So just focus on that number one platform that your audience is at right now. Another question that I like to ask myself is, does my dream client know what to do after they see my post? So imagine your messaging is clear and you're posting it out to your specific audience on the right channel. If your dream client consumes this post, do they A, know what you're selling? And B, do they know what to do? Is there some type of contact information? Is there some type of call to action? Is there something that they can then identify it's coming from you? So just like a simple example, even on this presentation, I have the Divorce Allies logo, I have my logo, and I have my email down here. So even, of course, this is a presentation, but for example, if I'm posting a carousel post out with 5 tips on how to start your Instagram account, I want to make sure that whoever's consuming this, specifically my dream client, is going to understand it's coming from me. They have my contact information or they have my website, but do they also know what I want them to do? Or is it just kind of like, you know, here are 5 random tips? Either way is fine. But what I'm saying is if you're really trying to sell something, you need to make sure it's clear and understandable to your audience and specifically your dream client. So just again, always kind of go through this list, ask yourself, do they know how to reach me? Do they know what to do? If I'm selling coffee, do they know that I'm even selling coffee? Is it maybe I'm selling coffee cups? Maybe I'm just selling a beautiful picture of Colombia and the coffee fields. Like just start to ask these questions as you're going through your content creation mode. And lastly, does this sound like me or just what I think I should say? And this is a kicker. This gets hard because the more you get more comfortable with posting, I think that this is easier. But in the very beginning stages, I get it. It's overwhelming to just post in general. How are you supposed to then make sure every single post is authentic and it sounds like you and it's catered specifically towards your dream client? I understand. These are ideals, but these are again just things that I need you to start questioning before you dive into all of the content creation. So eventually, as your content evolves, you get more confident, you have the tools in place, your profiles in place. All of this will just be like boom, 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 done. I understand. This is great. Again, in the beginning, I understand it's hard to navigate all of these things, but these are just things that I need you to start thinking of when you get into content creation. So, here are just a few simple ways to get to clarity, even if you're just getting started. Again, let's imagine you just opened up your LinkedIn and your Instagram account last week. And you're working through these emotions, these anxieties, these overwhelms. And then also you're thinking, okay, now how in the heck am I supposed to also create content specific for an audience? Here's some tangible ways you can do this. So one is the one person exercise. So imagine your offer is only for one person. So really visualize this one person. What do they look like? Who are they? What are they consuming? Are they on their phone most of the day? Are they on their laptop most of the day? Even go through their daytime routine. What time are they waking up? What are they having for breakfast? Is there TV in the background? Is there radio in the background? Are they going to the grocery store? Are they going to work out? Are they going to their job? Are they taking public transportation? Are they taking their own car? I promise, go through like every single step super specifically like that so you can really personify the one person you're selling to, which ultimately would be a whole demographic group. But take that one person that really symbolizes that whole demographic, and then you're going to start to see how they're consuming media, what their personal life is like, what other type of items and services they're using throughout the day. And then that's going to help you understand how to craft content specifically for that one person or that big demographic. Another thing that I always, always, always recommend is reflect on your own consumer behavior. So when you are going throughout your day, how are you interacting with social media? Are you sitting and scrolling for hours on end? What posts do you like? What posts do you not like? What are you drawn to? And this is really helpful if you are your own demographic. So for instance, if you fall into the retirement age and you've recently retired, think about literally directly yourself and how you're consuming. That would help. But then if you're not selling to specifically your own demographic, it's still good to just think about how you consume because, again, we always just want to really humanize our direct client instead of just picturing them as just like a statistic or a number. So, again, at the end of the day, everyone is a human that's either purchasing your product or signing up for your service. So, if you can just kind of put in your head, again, human behavior, consumer behavior, go through all of those different steps on, do I like long videos in the morning time? Do I like a simple snapshot in the morning time? Do I like seeing other people's faces on pictures? Do I like more just statistic data based? All of those things you can kind of write down notes, what you like, what patterns you're noticing about yourself. That's really helpful. Another thing is competitor research. So you're going to look up similar brands or other companies that you're wanting to one day become. What are they doing well? What are they not doing well? Who's following them? Who's interacting with them? How many interactions are they getting? If they post a video, do they get more comments? If they just post a picture, do they get more comments? The type of accounts that are commenting on their posts, are they more company-based profiles? Are they 30-year-old women? Are they 50-year-old women? Are they college students? So you can really tell how your competitors are interacting with their clientele, and that can help you. Of course, you're not going to copy exactly everything they do, but it helps you from just a base level understand what the general public and what your audience is really looking for. And you can also say, they're not doing that very well. I could do that so much better. Or I saw a gap in the market over here. Let me try that. So that's a great way. Again, don't copy, but you can see what an existing brand that you're striving for is doing well and what they're not doing well and what they could improve upon. Another thing is just trend and industry research on social media. So if I used the coffee example earlier in this video, so if you just even search coffee, coffee beans, coffee cup, matcha, like any type of thing that's similar in that industry, you could see like type of trends that are popping up. Again, if you have an artisanal coffee, but you want to look what Starbucks is doing, I would also, for trend wise, I would definitely suggest that. You could see you're not going to completely replicate a multi-million-dollar company, but it's good to see kind of what trends they're replicating, what keywords they're bringing in, and it can help you. Again, it's not a direct competitor, but it is, again, you could even look at tea companies or matcha companies or cafes and see, are they doing a lot of real life pictures? Are they doing more graphics? Again, just start pulling in anything in the relative space that you can use as inspiration. And lastly is a future class. I had to say it 3 times fast. Future cast your client's transformation. So this is, stay with me. This is what I really like, but I think it's going to take a second to kind of understand what I'm saying. So I want you to take that one person from the very beginning, think about them again. Think about their daily routine. Think about how they're consuming media. Think about how they're consuming your potential service or product. Now I want you to, in that visualization, literally put in your product or service. And I want you to see how that client's life has transformed. So if it's a coffee, imagine them now waking up a little bit perkier in the morning because now that they have your coffee to drink. And imagine, okay, how did they even find out about my coffee? Was it on Instagram? Was it on LinkedIn? Was it from a friend of a friend who tried this coffee at a farmer's market? Think about all those steps on how your one person got to now start their morning every morning with your coffee and how that's positively impacted their life. And now, for example, if you're doing something like a service in the retiree age, like 60 to 65, maybe it's a yoga/physical therapy service that it's home health. So you come to their house, you help them do an hour of specialized yoga for the day. Think about that one human from that very first example. How did they then hear about your service? What, maybe it was a poster at the YMCA, or maybe it was a post on LinkedIn, whoever knows. Now think how that service has now integrated into their life and how much better their life is. So I really like this because, again, it just adds that manifestation aspect. You're also directly seeing how they are interacting with your product or service, and even filling in the blank of how they found out about your product or service and how they're even expressing to other people in their circle. So it kind of just opens up the visualization of it, but also helps you understand how someone in that demographic could have heard about your product. And then that's where you're going to go back and fill in that gap and fill in that opportunity. There's also this additional tool down here. I can't directly click on it in the presentation, but I will put this in the description of this YouTube video. It is it's an application that you can go in and you can start to humanize your audience, like I was saying to do. So you're going to pick a little profile, you're going to choose its name, and it's going to go through a series of questions to really help you niche down your target market. And then you get to download the profile and you could print it out, laminate it, whatever you want, just so you can always refer back to that person or that profile every time you go in to create content, which I think is very helpful, especially if you don't have someone like me who's helping you strategize every single step and making sure we're really getting that specified target market down. This is a free application that just walks you through all these steps. So it's really great. Also use AI because they can help you. AI can help you narrow down your audience as well. So I guess kind of finally, to round this up just a little bit, and to also tie into all of, again, those emotions that come with creating content, your audience does not need perfection. It does not necessarily even want perfection. It just wants you. You don't need a full 12-step funnel or a viral video to be successful. We need to kind of slash the idea that you need 12 million followers on Instagram to be successful, to create income. That's just really not true anymore. There are so many people in the world and so many people consuming everything that you just need a certain amount of people to either be downloading your ebook, buying your service, buying whatever it might be. You don't need 12 million. Maybe you just need a niche group of 5,000 that's on a recurring monthly subscription. That could get you to your dream income. And it doesn't have to be perfect. If you are selling quirky coffee, your audience wants someone quirky leading that design, leading that content, right? They don't want perfect. You just need to connect. You need to make sure that there's clarity and a message that sounds like you. Because again, this ties into a personal brand, and we're going to get into that in the future. Melissa and I have already made videos on personal brand and why it's so important. But just at the end of the day, people want authenticity. That's what's missing now in our life. We turn to AI, which is just a computer. People are missing people, and our message needs to stay authentic and real. And again, like another tip for this is let your content feel like a conversation and not a performance. I try to do this even in these mini presentations that I'm doing, I really try to make it like I'm talking to a client who's sitting in front of me as opposed to a webcam. I think it helps people consume the information a lot easier. It makes them sound like we're just in a room together. Um, Again, people miss people and interactions. So if you can just make it sounding like you're talking to your best friend, that's way better than it, as opposed to feeling like you're speaking to a room of a million people who might buy your product or not. So just keep it real, keep it authentic, and truly build your brand around your audience's needs, not just your own preferences. And I'm guilty of this as well. I will sit there and I will try to choose the colors and the styles that I like best. But at the end of the day, my target audience is not me. My target audience is an age group a bit older than I am, an age group that's in a completely different demographic. So, as a designer, and a creative, I need to take that away. I can be creative on other things, but on my content, I need to be straightforward and clear as opposed to way too creative, because I'm not creating for jewelry or makeup companies. I'm creating for a lot of service professionals, professional service professionals. So in the financial and the consulting world, that needs to be straightforward, clean, and clear. So again, we all are guilty of this, especially like I said in the very beginning of the video, when there are so many tools out there and so many different applications and new this and new that. I get so caught up in it instead of just focusing on my target market. Everything you create, your brand, your website, blogs, and future content should start with who you're trying to serve. So just remember that before you get into any of these big projects. And lastly, I love to end with the affirmations. I think it's great before you start any big project. Let's just go through these. I don't have to speak to everyone, just the right people. My message doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. Clarity comes through action, not overthinking. I already know more than I think I do. The right people will feel seen when I show up as myself. It's safe to share my ideas before they're fully formed. I can grow and refine my audience as I go. Connection matters more than polish. My lived experience is enough to start building from. I trust that the right words will find the right people. And that is what I'm going to end on, because I think once you have confidence in posting, combined with understanding your audience, it's just going to keep increasing your confidence. Because once you realize you don't have to speak to the whole entire world, you just have to speak to this specific audience, you become clearer, you become more authentic, it just changes the whole game. So again, I just wanted to kind of establish, before we get into more like nitty-gritty of actual content creation or marketing strategy or building a website, any of these more technical topics, I wanted to make sure we cover the base of processing your emotions and having a clear idea of who you're selling to. And again, as just last parting words, if you're really struggling to even figure out how or who you're selling to, go to ChatGPT, plug in your potential idea, your product, and just start asking, okay, be my marketing guru. I don't know who I'm selling to. I just have this really good coffee idea, but I don't even know who to sell to. Have AI help you and walk through that. If you have any questions and you want to speak to a human, my emails are always open. Reach out, ask me a question. I'm here to help. And between, if you're in the Divorce Allies or want to be a client of Anagram Creates, we have so many resources to help anyone going through this time of transition, whether it be from divorce to starting your own business or corporate to starting your own business, whatever it might be in between. We're here to help. So hopefully this was helpful on some level, and we'll see you next time.